Welcome into another episode of Locked On Phillies. And finally, the Phillies give us what we were asking for, a nice, comfortable win with some great performances out of the Phillies with a chance to go for the sweep today.
You are Locked On Phillies, your daily Philadelphia Phillies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, this is Locked On Phillies. I'm your host, Connor Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us today. We come to you as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You may know me for some of my other work in the sports talk space. I've been on air over at 97.5 The Fanatic doing sports talk radio for a little over 5 years now. I've been a credentialed Philadelphia Phillies media member for 4 seasons, and this is now my 4th year as the host of Locked On Phillies. Please make sure you're rating, reviewing, hitting that subscribe button on the YouTube. That'll get you notifications when new episodes are posted. So it really helps you out. It also really helps me out. It's free and easy. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. The Phillies actually made one easy for us, folks, and this is what we've been begging for pretty much the whole year. Just like, why can't we get one of these nice, comfortable wins where you play a lesser team, you lead wire to wire, nothing's nerve-wracking, and you just win? And they did that. And they did that in a lot of ways last night as they took down the Nationals 7-2. The absolute first thing that I'm starting with is what I said was the number one priority, getting Christopher Sanchez out healthy. They did that. He threw 5 innings. He didn't look like normally Christopher Sanchez looks, but he got the job done. He got there. He only allowed 2 runs. He struck out 6. He did walk 3, but that's more just rust of not throwing for a while, I think. He was healthy, threw 87 pitches. He got the win. Great. That's exactly what you needed out of Christopher Sanchez. I guess we'll talk about the offense because Kyle Schwarber went yard again, second time in as many days he's hit the ball out of the ballpark. He loves hitting against the Nationals. He loves hitting at Citizens Bank Park. But Phil's had 3 home runs, and 2 of them were from guys that the Phils really need to get going. And Max Kepler or JT Realmuto, now neither of them were like bombs. Kyle Schwarber hit his out with basically one hand. That dude is there's something going around the internet right now of, can 100 men fight a gorilla? Well, guess what? If one of those men is Kyle Schwarber, you don't even need the other 99. He's that strong. He's an absolute monster. Credit to Kyle Schwarber for, I guess, just being one strong son of a gun. But JT Realmuto and Max Kepler, they did not quite hit them the same way that Kyle Schwarber hit them, but they were still home runs. And you haven't really seen all that much. It was number 3 from Kepler on the year, number 2 from Realmuto on the year. If those guys get going and the Phillies find that power stroke, they're going to be back. They've been a little bit low on the home runs lately, and that's kind of the calling card of this team. Now, maybe that's the differing approach this year from the last couple of years, but you still should be able to hit the ball out of the ballpark with this lineup. And last night, they absolutely did. Now, those were good things to see, but I think the most impressive thing that I saw last night was the bullpen performance, because the Phillies bullpen, you're going to have to pinch yourself on this stat line. Jose Ruiz comes in after 5 innings of work for Christopher Sanchez. So you're going to need to cover the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th to get out of there with the victory. Well, Ruiz goes an inning and a third, no hits, no runs, none earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Perfect. All right, Jose Ruiz. Love that. Then Tanner Banks comes in, and people get a little nervous. Oh, Tanner Banks, really? And I've had issues with Tanner Banks. I don't know. I don't think his stuff's all that good. But last night, 1 2/3 innings, nearly a full 2 out of the pen. No hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And then Carlos Hernandez comes in. An inning pitched, no hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, no strikeouts for him. The Phillies bullpen, they were unbelievable. They threw perfect innings. That's just unbelievable. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, all perfect for the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen. That is like hitting a 14-leg parlay. That is something that happens once in a blue moon, it feels like, and may never happen again. Now, maybe this is like the momentum builder for the Phillies bullpen. We talked about them building momentum as a team when they won the series in Chicago. Well, they could be maybe settling in. I was talking yesterday because I'm working in the afternoons now on the radio, which is why I've been doing earlier podcast episodes. But I was talking with Ricky Metallico, of course, former Philly, former Major League reliever Ricky Metallico, on the air yesterday. And he was saying that he thinks a lot of the Phillies bullpen issues are fixable. He doesn't see a lot of guys with velocity drops. He just sees some guys overthinking stuff and stuff that they need to get back to as far as like the way that they attack hitters, trusting their catcher a little bit more in JT Realmuto. He thinks it's fixable. Well, he's going to feel pretty smart today when we hop on the air because that was a great performance by the Phillies bullpen, the cleanest performance that they've had all year, I would say. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I also can't imagine that they had another perfect 4 innings earlier on in the season because they've kind of been a mess since the start of the season. But they got the job done. Credit to the bullpen. Maybe they are better than they have been performing. I don't know. Now, what we're not going to do, right, is we're not going to make these grand proclamations off of one game. See, the bullpen's fine. What were you ever worried about? No, we're not doing that. See, JT, Max Kepler, they're going to hit 25 bombs each this year. Slow down. It was a great win. It was a comfortable win. It was a boring win. And that's what it should be. You are so much better than the Washington Nationals. It should be boring for you to play them. And night one was a mess. Defensively, it was a mess in the middle innings at the plate. It was a mess on the mound for the bullpen. Well, the bullpen was great. The at-bats were awesome throughout. The Phillies were constantly threatening, and they were holding a lead comfortably. They were answering when Washington scored. And on top of the bullpen bounce back, the defensive bounce back, the Phillies had no errors in the game. Now, they shouldn't have errors. They're a Major League Baseball team. Sometimes you do here and there, but the Phillies had no errors in the game. That was really nice to see the defensive bounce back there with Turner at short still, Rojas in center still. No issues last night. Now, they got to consistently give us no issues, but last night was the perfect, okay, we had a bit of a shaky game in game one. We're going to buckle down and go about our business like we're supposed to. We're going to bounce back. And heck, they won game one. So it's not like they're bouncing back from a loss and they've got to fight their way back up where they were in the standings. Like, no, they won the game, but they did not go home satisfied. They came out game two. They took care of business. And they opened up the opportunity for them to go for a sweep. They have won 4 straight games. So the Phillies are in a pretty good spot. They currently sit at 17-13 record-wise. They're starting to make ground. Mets lost yesterday. Braves lost yesterday. Nationals obviously lost yesterday. Like, you feel pretty good about where the Philadelphia Phillies are right now compared to where they were a week ago. So I guess the main takeaway from this game, maybe it shouldn't be the main takeaway, but one of my takeaways is, why doesn't this happen more consistently? Why can't you do this more often? Like, this should not be one of the first times this year we're saying nice, comfortable, consistent start. Heck, it's May 1st as I'm sitting here recording it. This game was the last day of April. It took you a month to give us one of these calm, cool, collected, comfortable wins. That feels like a long time for you to figure it out, but maybe they're starting to hit their stride a little bit. I'm going to need to see a little bit more out of the Phillies. Like, this win streak's going to have to hit like 6 or 7 if I'm starting to discuss, oh, they're hitting their stride. This is really that run like they started on this time last year when they started to just look like an unbeatable baseball team. And, hey, we may get there. Looking at the schedule, Diamondbacks come in. They're a good team, 16-14. But we're going to talk about the pitching matchups, or one in particular, later on in the episode. Maybe they win the series against Arizona. Like, that will be the mark, right? Is starting off May with the final game against the Nationals tonight, 6:45 p.m. We'll talk about that in the final segment of today's episode. Also, the return of Ranger Suarez comes up next. We will talk about that as well. The Diamondbacks have given the Phillies trouble, not just in the NLCS, but they've given them trouble the past couple of years. They're that team that the Phillies can't seem to play well alongside the Mets. Those are the number 1 and 2 team in baseball where I'm like, I don't like this matchup right now for the Phillies. If they can come out of that series with a series win, or heck, if they can win the first two and extend this win streak up even more, if they do sweep the Nationals today, I think the whole "we're so back" versus everything's over or whatever. I forget what the actual meme is, but yeah, "we're so back" versus "it's over," I think was the meme. Bottom line is the differentiator between "we're so back" is going to be that Diamondbacks series. This National series doesn't really tell us too much about the team, just that they can take care of their business when they need to. And that's what they did last night. Now, against Arizona, you're going to have a little bit of help because Ranger Suarez is going to be back on the bump. And this felt like it took longer than we were expecting. But it's good to have Ranger Suarez back. The question is, how are the Philadelphia Phillies going to handle it? Whose spot is he taking? Do they go six-man? When is he throwing? Well, I have guesses at most of it and information on some of it based on what Rob Thompson said yesterday when he announced that Ranger Suarez would be starting. So I'll tell you what day he's starting and what we can expect from Ranger Suarez when he makes his first start of the year for the Phillies coming up this weekend as we continue today's episode of Locked On Phillies. Let me tell you about Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. You can dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. There's so many options for you to do with your Fire Stick. Like, if you could jump into your favorite Xbox titles without needing your console in every room, how easy would that be? On vacation, how easy would it be to bring that instead of the entire console and your Xbox and all the controllers and everything? You just need the paired controller and the Fire Stick, and you could set it up. I mean, it makes everything so much more simpler. Basically, it shrinks down. You remember that old movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? This is Honey, I Shrunk the Xbox. And plus, you can get all of your entertainment outside of just gaming too, because streaming of TV shows and all the great streaming services that are available on the Fire TV Stick 4K. It's more affordable. It's easier to travel with. It's simpler. This is just a better way to game, better way to stream, better way to do everything that you're going to do on your TV in the year 2025 and beyond. So go ahead and check out the 4K Fire Stick. Head to Amazon.com/FireTV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. Go ahead and check out Amazon's Fire TV Stick 4K. So Ranger Suarez is back. Well, almost back. He hasn't thrown yet for the Philadelphia Phillies, and I feel like if I say back 3 times with Ranger Suarez, it'll be like Beetlejuice and it'll disappear again. I think I already said that word 3 times. But for now, he's back with the Philadelphia Phillies. We hope he is healthy, and we hope that he is looking like his old self. Now, Ranger Suarez has been a guy that when he has been available for the Phillies, he has been consistently nasty. So I don't expect him to miss a step. He threw a bullpen yesterday in the minors, and he was able to feel good enough after that the Phillies decided you're starting Sunday against the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's perfect. It's a home series. It's a Sunday day game. You can feel really good about having a routine set. It's the final game of that series, so he has plenty of time to settle in. He's going to get an idea of how the series is going and what hitters are doing. Perfect. The Phillies are handling that perfectly as far as scheduling Ranger Suarez's first start of the year. Now, I haven't heard anything about how conservative they're going to be with pitch count or anything like that, what they're going to let him do, if there's an innings limit, if they're okay, we're giving him 70 pitches. He made multiple starts at the minor league level. It felt like it was taking a while. It felt like he made 3 or 4 starts. I don't know off the top of my head how many rehab starts he made, but he was down there for a minute. And that's fine. You could be conservative. We talked yesterday. I think it was on the podcast. It might have been on the radio. But yesterday, I brought up the point that you don't need starting pitching right now. Your starting pitching is just fine. Taijuan Walker's been somewhat serviceable. Nola's starting to figure it out, but Sanchez, Luzardo, Wheeler have been awesome. You don't really need to add to the rotation at this point in the season, so no reason to rush Ranger Suarez back. But now, having him back will make this rotation from great to elite. Just think about how good the Phillies starting pitching has been this year. And they haven't even had a guy who could be their third or fourth best arm, right? And that's a pretty high bar for third or fourth best, considering who some of the other guys are. There are 3 guys in this rotation that have already gotten votes for Cy Young at some point in their career, and Ranger Suarez is not one of them. Wild. And Jesus Luzardo isn't one of them. Sanchez, Nola, Wheeler have gotten them. Sanchez has not. Suarez has not. Sanchez has. Suarez is not. Luzardo is not. And then Taijuan Walker, obviously. I don't know if he did earlier on in his career when he was an all-star. But my point is this. The rotation is stacked. So to add Ranger Suarez back to the Phillies rotation is a major, major asset. And it's also something that, like, the rich get richer. It's nice to see that they've been holding it down without Ranger Suarez, but if he gets rolling, that's how you really build momentum. I feel like there have been too many, even though the starting pitching has been good, too many days, too often do you look at it and be like, oh, man, I do not feel good about this start at all. Whether it's Nola against a team he doesn't throw well against, Taijuan Walker, and you're just nervous. I don't know. Like, Christopher Sanchez gets pulled early with an injury. Taijuan Walker gets pulled early with an injury. And both those guys are fine. They were short-term things. But having that extra arm just gives you more options. Now, do they go to a 6-man rotation? Well, Luzardo, Nola, and Suarez are going to throw in this series against the Diamondbacks. Walker throws today. Sanchez just threw yesterday. Wheeler just threw the day before. So that's everybody covered. I'd imagine that Walker is the man on the outside looking in, but the Phillies may go 6th man. And if they go 6-man rotation, I don't love it. I don't want them to go 6-man rotation. I'd rather them just throw 5. I want it to be Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, Sanchez, Luzardo. Not necessarily in that order, but those are the 5 guys I want. And then I want Taijuan Walker to go to the bullpen. I want him to understand that this bullpen needs help, and he did his job as a starter to the level that we could have possibly expected, right? Like, the fact that he's had multiple serviceable starts is, I mean, you would have taken that at the start of the year from a guy who didn't seem like he could throw a baseball anymore in Taijuan Walker. So I'm not ripping Taijuan Walker. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to see him pitch every 6th day. I don't want to see him take starts away from guys like Wheeler or Nola or Suarez or Sanchez or Luzardo. I want all of those guys over him, and I don't need a 6-man rotation. Now, maybe with the injury issues that the Phillies have been just slightly avoiding, they feel like they do. Sanchez had the forearm tightness. Walker had the shoulder tightness. We know Ranger Suarez is coming off the back injury. You got 3 guys that have already experienced stuff in the first month of the season. Maybe that prompts that prompts Rob Thompson to keep Taijuan Walker in the rotation. I don't know. I would not do it because I want these guys to get into a routine. But having Ranger Suarez back is going to be a major, major boost. He's a great clubhouse guy. The guys love to have him around. He's a calming presence on the mound. The fan base loves him. Like, he's just Ranger Suarez. If he could just stay on the darn field, it would be such a fan favorite here. And he already is, even though he's got injury issues. We love Ranger Suarez. We don't want Ranger Suarez to go anywhere. You just hesitate to pay him because of the multiple injuries. But when he's out there, he gets the job done. So the Phillies are winning. They've won 5 straight. Let's see. Final 2 games, Chicago. 4 straight. Yeah, can't count. Not a big math guy. And they're getting back one of their better starting pitchers, and that could move one of their serviceable starting pitchers into a bullpen role to balance that out as well. And their bullpen just threw 4 perfect innings, and their starters have been good, and the offense is starting to heat up. Like, things are good in Philadelphia Phillies land right now, folks. It's not simple to just look at this team and say, okay, they're going to be this team all year. There still are some problems that exist, like the outfield, right-handed pop. Where do you find it? The bullpen, do you need to add to it? Maybe we can do that without going to a 6-man rotation and then pulling Taijuan Walker into the bullpen. That would seem to be the way that I would add at this point in the season when you can't trade or anything. Maybe you call somebody up like Seth Johnson. I don't know. If you haven't watched what he's doing in the minor leagues, he's probably their best shot at being in the bullpen up at this level, but I don't think we're ready for that yet at this point in the year. I think the Phillies are in a really comfortable spot right now, and I hope that they continue to play baseball like they did last night, and I hope that Ranger Suarez continues to pitch like he has the past couple of years when he's been healthy, but having him back is a major asset to the organization, major asset to the team, to the pitching staff, to everything. You automatically get better when Ranger Suarez is on your team, and Ranger Suarez being back is exactly what's happening for the Phillies this weekend. Now, what's happening for the Phillies today is they have a night game against the Nationals to go for the sweep. Will they find a way to complete it and get just their second sweep of the year? We will discuss that as we wrap up today's episode of Locked On Phillies. Let's talk about Monarch Money, though, because you ever check your bank account and wonder where did all your money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's super easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, and you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. And when I started using Monarch Money, I realized I was spending way too much money on having food delivered, right? I don't go out to eat all that much because I'm always watching baseball games for this job. Well, now I budget smarter and save more, make more dinner at home instead of ordering out because I know how much it was costing me thanks to Monarch Money. There's an all-in-one convenience because instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. And managing money with your partner is smoother than ever because you can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Go ahead and check out our friends over at Monarch Money. Okay, the sweep is on the table. Can the Philadelphia Phillies complete the sweep of the Washington Nationals with Taijuan Walker on the mound? Yeah, I know that makes you a little bit nervous, right? But let me start by telling you a little bit about who's on the mound for the Nationals. Brad Lord is out there for Washington, and he has, in his career, pitched in 7 games and started in 4 of them. So you might say, oh, this guy's one of the younger guys. He's 25. He's not like this young up-and-coming prospect. I mean, I guess he is younger, but he's this converted bullpen guy, righty. So that plays the Phillies keeping the same lineup out there. And guys like Schwarber, who are hot right now. Stott, who is red hot right now at the leadoff spot. Stott's been really good, by the way. We'll talk about him in a second, actually. Plays to their skill set. But he's only thrown 17 1/3 innings in his major league career, and he's given up 21 hits. He's only struck out 13. He's walked 9. So he's given up 9 earned runs in 17 1/3 innings pitched, which is why he's got a 4.67 ERA. The guy's just not that good. The Nationals are having issues with their pitching staff, and Brad Lord is a cool story that he's getting this opportunity. If you want to hear Ryan Clary, who hosts Locked On Nationals, talk a little bit more about it, you can go back to our crossover episode before the series, and he talked about Brad Lord and why this is a cool opportunity for him. But he's just not that good. The Phillies should be able to score runs. They should be able to win this game. They should be heavily favored in this game, and they are, even though Taijuan Walker's on the mound. Now, I want to read these numbers to you on Taijuan Walker because I did not realize. I thought he'd been okay this year, right? Like middle of the pack. His numbers are pretty darn good. He's 1-2. Whatever. Don't care about the win-loss record. He's got a 2.78 ERA, a 1.37 whip, and in 22 2/3 innings pitched, he struck out 20. He's walked 10. Now, the problem is he's given up 21 hits. So he's allowed 31 runners on base in 22 2/3 innings. Just too much traffic. But he's only given up 2 home runs. He hasn't been giving up the long ball. He's been striking out a good number of people because he has the movement on that splitter back, and he has a little extra velo to help set up that pitch. I was shocked when I was doing episode prep, and I saw that Taijuan Walker had a 2.7 ERA. But he's been solid for the Philadelphia Phillies. Maybe that's why they want to keep a 6-man rotation, but that's a problem for this weekend and later dates, and we already discussed that. The problem for today is go out there, take care of business against the Washington Nationals. You should be able to shut them down. He has not thrown against the Nationals yet this year. Remember, the opening series was Sanchez, not Sanchez, Wheeler, Luzardo, Nola were the 3 guys that threw in that opening series back at the end of March in Washington. So they haven't seen Taijuan Walker yet this year. I think that's a good thing. You always, I believe, have more success the first time you face the team in a year, unless they have really, really good scouting and you're like a veteran guy, like an Aaron Nola, who's been around the block forever. Like, they know what he's going to throw. Nothing new is coming out of Aaron Nola these days. They've got years and years of data. But my point on Taijuan Walker, who I guess also is a veteran, is he should be able to have success today against this Washington Nationals lineup. And the Phillies lineup should have success against Brad Lord. Like, this isn't that hard. You look at the money line, Phillies are minus 180 favorites, 54.4% on the ESPN Analytics matchup predictor. Like, yesterday, they were bigger favorites on the betting lines. And part of that reason is because you had Christopher Sanchez going, and he's a significantly better pitcher. But Walker has been sneaky solid this year. And if this is his last performance as a starter, that's the other thing that I look at. What is he going to do today? Because I don't know if they've told him yet what they're going to do when Ranger Suarez comes back up. But if I was in Taijuan Walker's body right now, I would love to be able to throw 90 plus. If I was Walker, though, I would be thinking, okay, if they haven't told me, I know Suarez is starting Sunday. I saw the announcement just like everybody else. So Suarez is back. I was in the rotation for Ranger Suarez. I kind of want to stay in the rotation because I'm a starting pitcher in my mind. I think I deserve it. And to prove my point, I'm going to have to go out and shove in my final start before Ranger gets his opportunity to throw. And this is my chance to say, hey, I still want to be here. I still want to be in the starting rotation. There's some motivation there for Taijuan Walker in today's game to go out and do his best and try and have one of his better starts of the year to show that he deserves a spot in the rotation. On the other side, if he goes out and he gets shelled and the fan base is like, well, Ranger's back, why is this guy still in the rotation? People are going to turn on Taijuan Walker again real quick. So a big kind of turning point start for Taijuan Walker and what his individual path is going to be this year for the Phillies. The Phillies, either way, are fine, right? Like, it has nothing to do with like the ceiling of this team. I don't think, at least, because let's say he goes out there and stinks. I mean, you got Ranger, you're going to be fine. Put him in the bullpen. We can get an inning out of him here and there. It's okay. Let's say he's great. You got Ranger Suarez. I still don't want him to do a 6-man, but even if they do that for a little, well, okay, eventually Taijuan Walker is going to end up in the bullpen one way or another. So you get to the same spot either way. It's just different for Taijuan Walker as an individual. So I root for the guy. I do. Everyone says he's a wonderful teammate. Outside of the liked tweets about not pitching in the 23 NLCS, he hasn't had any issues here. He's kind of soldiered through being a punching bag for the Philadelphia fan base, and it's good to see that he's having a nice start to the year. The offense will come. The Phillies are going to score 5, 6, 7 runs again in today's game. I'm not worried about that whatsoever. You just got to have Taijuan Walker take care of business, and hey, maybe the bullpen can have back-to-back shutdown performances. Hell would freeze over, but a guy can dream, can't I? So I think the Phillies can knock down the sweep today. This is how we handle these series, right? Remember, always, when we go into a series that could be sweepable, and we talked about that before the series started, you never go into a series saying, hey, you got to sweep this team. You're going to sweep this team. No, it doesn't work that way. You go in and you say, hey, 2 out of 3, take care of business. If you take the first 2, we will have the conversation on Thursday ahead of Thursday's game about the sweep. Well, that's what we're doing right now. So the Phillies have put themselves in position and put us in a position to have this conversation. I hope they finish it off. It would just be their second sweep of the year. 5 games straight won. Oh, we would love to say that. And, hey, an opportunity to keep it going this weekend against the Diamondbacks. But we will get there when we get there. We will talk about that and preview that series on our next episode tomorrow. But that's all for today's episode of Locked On Phillies. Please make sure you're rating, reviewing, subscribing to the YouTube, all that great stuff that really helps us out. Once again, we come to you as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Again, tomorrow we're going to be recapping what happens in the final game of the series against the Nationals, and we are going to be previewing, yes, an NLCS from 2023 rematch, a team that the Phillies struggled with last year, a big series at Citizens Bank Park to say, hey, are you just beating bad teams, or are you legitimately on a bit of a roll right now with the Arizona Diamondbacks? So a big episode tomorrow, and we will talk to you then on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.